This is KARE 11 News at 6.
Coming up, an overnight police chase ends when a suspect vehicle crashes into an innocent motorist. Plus, the daunting task ahead for tornado victims in Buffalo Lake. And a massive effort to restore power to thousands of residents who've been in the dark for days. Thank you for joining us. Paul Majors has the night off. Their food is spoiled and their patience is wearing thin.
Tonight, thousands of XL customers are waiting for crews to undo damage by the storms earlier this week. Initially, the storms knocked out power to 200,000 XL customers. By yesterday, though, crews managed to restore service to all but 30,000 homes and businesses. Tonight, 9,400 people are still without power, and it could be days before the lights are back on. KARE 11's Bernie Grace reports.
We have salmon, packages of salmon, brand new chunks of cheese in here, 2 boxes of steaks, no names, they're good.
Kathy Cooper could wait no longer. Some $200 worth of meat and other frozen and refrigerated food had to go.
They all started to thaw and we didn't have anywhere to take it, and it was just kind of smelling too.
This is a high impact storm. We've had a lot of damage. It's affected our power system pretty significantly.
XL Energy crews have been working around the clock since the storm. Power lines are down in many places, especially around Richfield, Bloomington, and Edina. Hard hit yesterday morning. But downed trees must be cleared from the power lines and disposed of before electric crews can get to repairing the poles and lines. So the progress may not be as fast as many would like. What that has meant is that some intersections motorists must do it the old-fashioned way, one at a time, rather than traffic-controlled signals. But if there is a silver lining to all of this, weary workers are finding more time in the evening.
We've all got a lot more sleep. Everybody's been just going to bed early. We've been pretty tired out from cleaning up, so well, nobody's staying up late watching TV, that's for sure.
And unfortunately, more time to focus on the damage, such as this homeowner who is without wheels, where not one but 2 vehicles were flattened when the garage collapsed.
We recognized right away we had a big job. Our history is showing that this is a multiple day event. We have brought in a small army from everywhere.
So with crews as far away as Texas and Colorado, XL Energy hopes to have power restored by this weekend to those who lost it early Wednesday. In Richfield, Bernie Grace, KARE 11 News.
XL says it hopes the bulk of those still in the dark will be back online by tomorrow night, but other smaller scattered outages probably won't be restored until Saturday. So how long does food keep good during a power outage? According to the Department of Agriculture, the refrigerator will keep food safely cold for about 4 hours if you don't open the door. A full freezer will hold its temperature for 48 hours if the door remains closed. If power is suspected to be out for longer than a couple of hours, dry ice will keep food cold. For more information and a detailed list of foods to throw out or keep, log on to KARE11.com and click on featured links.
The rain-swollen Mississippi River claimed a life today in Fridley. Rescue crews found the body of a man about 150 feet downstream from where he had been fishing from shore. 2 men called 911 after they saw the man disappear in the water. Officials say they don't know if the man went into the river intentionally or if he slipped, but they do have advice for anyone near water.
We've had several drownings in the last 2 years. Most of our drownings in the last 2 years have been from shorelines where people have slipped into the water. And unfortunately, if you slip near water and you hit your head, or if something goes wrong, even though you're close to land, you're not close enough.
Rescuers say high water levels following this week's rain may have contributed to the man's death.
Albertville residents are assessing flood damage from Tuesday night's torrential rains while they wait for the waters to recede. Wendy Richards runs a daycare out of the lower level of her home. The waist-high water, which poured in through the windows, damaged or destroyed furniture, carpet, and other family belongings. But it could have been worse. Richards' young children almost slept downstairs Tuesday night.
I'm very overwhelmed that, that I actually have my kids still with me. The feelings are really hard to express because with being here a year and a half and not really knowing what to do. It's like, where do I start first?
The Richards family is still living without electricity or running water. Richards says she's not sure when she'll be able to reopen her daycare. Well, it will likely cost millions of dollars to clean up and rebuild the city of Buffalo Lake.
The tornado-ravaged community is already showing signs of improvement, but residents still have a long way to go. The storm impacted just about every one of the city's 770 residents, and several homes and businesses are heavily damaged. KARE 11's Christine Haas is in Buffalo Lake with the very latest on the cleanup. Christine?
That's right, Brad and Di. The sun has finally come out here again. The rain has lifted once again. And I'm standing in front of Susan Karnick's house here in Buffalo Lake. This house is really a good example of this entire community because in the last 24 hours, significant progress has been made. Rescue crews and residents here have rolled up their sleeves and they're all trying to move past Tuesday's tornado. And streets and yards around town have mainly been cleared of fallen trees and debris from all those damaged buildings. Electricity has been restored to the local nursing home and water plant, and crews are repairing poles to get homes and businesses hooked up as soon as possible. But still, as the work is completed, outside agencies are making plans to pull out, leaving a weary town to deal with an uncertain future.
A bad way to describe it, but it's about like a funeral. As the time as it happens, I mean, there's so many people around helping, pitching in, and then after the fact comes, and there you sit. And I think that's what they're realizing.
Next few days, I think you'll see a lot of things, a lot of minds changing and stuff. You know, you wonder who's going to rebuild or who's not.
And that is the biggest concern here in Buffalo Lake. I know I was around Main Street just a little while ago and talked to the postmaster, and she told me that she knows firsthand the well-known bakery in town is not going to rebuild. And of course, that's just one of the concerns for people here, hoping that it doesn't put a dent in the economy and the identity of Buffalo Lake. We'll have more on the rescue efforts of the church at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, Christine.
Thanks, Christine. 2 Minnesota men are hospitalized tonight after crashing their car while fleeing from a police officer. An Eagan officer tried to pull the men's car over last night near the intersection of Pilot Knob and Diffley. The car fled and the officer pursued until the suspect's car crashed into another vehicle at the intersection of Highway 13 and Yankee Doodle Road. The chase and the crash are under investigation.
Everything we know so far indicates that the officer acted within policy, within the law, and really did conduct the pursuit with good regard for public safety.
The driver who fled could face criminal charges. He's in intensive care at Regions Hospital. His passenger is also hospitalized. The driver of the other car was treated for minor injuries.
14 years after the crime, a Minnesota man is finally sentenced for murdering a co-worker. Stephen Zanter was sentenced to 25.5 years in prison for the 1989 murder of Sharon Bloom. The two were colleagues at 3M in Woodbury, and Zanter had been investigated in a harassment case involving Bloom. Zanter was convicted of the murder once, but the conviction was overturned because evidence had been obtained illegally. He finally admitted to the murder 3 months ago.
At least for the next, 17 years, he'll be incarcerated. And that's, I think, what we get the best we can out of the system. And we go on with our lives.
Bloom's friends and family say they were frustrated at how long it took for the case to be solved, but they're gratified her killer is finally going to prison.
A St. Cloud teenager accused of murdering his father can use the money from his dad's estate to pay for his defense. A Stearns County judge ordered Ken McLennan's sister to release $25,000 from the $1.4 million estate to pay for 18-year-old Jason McClellan's fees. A teen and a friend are both charged with murder in the January shooting death of the elder McClellan. A St. Paul woman accused of stealing an elderly woman's SUV twice is now charged with her murder. Police say they've linked Tequila Richardson to Shirley Shepard's killing through admissions she made to a fellow jail inmate and other evidence. Richardson is charged with second-degree murder, kidnapping, and auto theft, and she remains behind bars.
Governor Pawlenty says he's found some money to keep Minnesota's gang strike force on the job, but proponents of the force say it's a half-hearted commitment. The strike force was targeted to lose millions of dollars under the budget deal struck last month. Pawlenty reversed that decision today and added $1.4 million to keep the force going until next July, but he would make no firm commitment on 2005. 4 of the officers assigned to attend today's photo opportunity will leave the strike force tomorrow because there is not enough money.
Well, still to come on KARE 11 News, Quest gets the green light to expand business in Minnesota.
Plus, the price of a college education gets more expensive at the U. And the Twins struggled during a matinee rubber game with the White Sox.
And I'm Ken Barlow in the backyard. If you live in Plymouth or Northfield, you're about to get rained on. I'll have the forecast for the rest of you in just a few minutes.
A diploma at the University of Minnesota is more expensive than ever. The school's Board of Regents rubber-stamped a tuition increase today.
The move boosts the yearly cost to attend the U to more than $6,500 for Minnesotans and more than $18,000 for those out of state. KARE 11's Greg Vandergrift reports.
One cheeseburger, brat, and a cheeseburger.
University of Minnesota senior Jeremy Berger, who grills midday on the U's Mall, knows there's no free lunch.
I'll go wherever they need help. It helps pay the bills, you know.
And the bills will soon be bigger.
It's sad to hear that they had to up the tuition again. 14%, but that's definitely of great concern to me, you know. That's more money that I have to pay back.
Today, responding to state funding cuts and higher costs, the Regents made it official. Tuition's going way up next school year.
I think it's outrageous.
The tuition fee hikes are double-digit for undergraduates. Minnesotans will see almost a 15% increase of $842 a year. Out-of-staters, almost 12%, or $1,900. At the graduate level, there's a wide range of increases, topping out at 14%.
Well, the first thing I have to say to students is I have a great deal of sympathy for their predicament.
U President Dr. Bob Brunick still considers higher education affordable. His concern, keeping it that way.
I'm hoping in the out years that we can work with the state of Minnesota, work with the federal government, work with the private sector to raise new money to keep higher education accessible and affordable.
It's just not affordable anymore. It really...
Jeremy Berger says anymore the price of higher education means studying less and working more.
Right.
Greg Vandergrift, KARE 11 News.
The university says for lower-income Minnesotans, it's possible to offset the increases through either federal, state, or university grants.
Quest will soon be in the long-distance business here in Minnesota. The communications company says the FCC unanimously approved its bid to offer the service. 3 of 4 members of the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission, however, voted to oppose Quest long-distance in Minnesota. They cited Quest's failure to accept penalties for anti-competitive behavior in the local phone market.
Well, coming up in sports with Randy Shaver, Chicago proves to be a rough lunch date for the Twins. Plus, draft date predictions for the T-Wolves.
But first, Ken Barlow has a weekend forecast that should make just about everyone happy.
Ken Barlow joins us right now, and you know what? You've had your feet up in the weather office all day today.
What's up with that?
Although it's sprinkling out, and I forgot my umbrella, so it serves me right. We do have a couple of showers moving through. Time lapse from today. This is one of the most interesting ones, actually, we've had in a while, and it's not because of the clouds. Who cares, right? But you know what? Watch the spider. Watch the spider in the middle of the screen here. He keeps on making an appearance. Anytime now, you'll see this 8-legged thing just drop down on the screen and say,
I think he's hallucinating.
No, watch. I'm serious. It was a long night the other night, but not that long. It's coming. I'm just trying to build up the... There
we go.
Now watch. He'll come back. Look.
That is pretty cool.
Welcome to Animal Planet. We do have a couple of showers. Actually, more like sprinkles around now. Come on, Amy. Give me the umbrella. Thank you very much. A couple of sprinkles around now. You can go now. Go ahead. A couple of showers out here now, but nothing really of consequence. Will be moving through in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Get a quick picture, Amy. No? Maybe not. 69 degrees, the high temperature today, 54 the low. It was cooler than average. You probably could tell that just by stepping outside. It was chilly, especially compared to what it was like earlier in the week. Right now, it is still 69 degrees with a mix of clouds and sun, 22 to 29 mile-an-hour northwest wind. The humidity is low compared to the way it's been, and the barometer is on the rise from 29.87. Let's go to radar first. Skyscan showing just widely scattered, even isolated showers. One pretty good little area down around Northfield, just south of Lakeville, it looks like. Continuing to move on to the east. Let's zoom in a little bit here toward the Twin Cities. And once again, the sun is out at the same time it's raining. That's what kind of a day it is. There may actually be a rainbow. If you live in Golden Valley and Plymouth, put your back to the sun and look to the east. You might see a rainbow. This is the kind of weather you get with a rainbow. There again, a little bit of a shower right there over Golden Valley. I can vouch for that. And out just to the south of Annandale, there's also a shower. And up toward Princeton, these are widely scattered. Not everybody's going to see them, but we will Continue to see just a couple of scattered showers through the evening hours. Look at the satellite picture. The clouds, classic for this type of an air mass, and now the rain is done. Classic for this type of an air mass where we have lots of little cumulus clouds, the bubbly ones that we showed you on the time lapse before we showed you the spider. And now you can see little bands of them moving south through the state. These types of clouds, though, die when the sun sets. So after 9 o'clock, when the sun goes down, so will the clouds. And they'll pretty much get out of here and dissipate, and we won't have to deal with any more showers overnight. I think we've had enough rain here lately. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. It's only in the 40s up around Grand Marais right now. 47 degrees there, but 70 at Mora, 67 at Crystal, 64 at Lakeville and Faribault with showers headed your way in the next half hour or so. So expect to get wet there. And all of us are going to be cool tonight. Get out the blanket if you put it away. It's going to be in the 40s in most areas. The forecast tonight, an isolated evening shower, then clearing out. Temperatures dropping down to the upper 40s in the suburbs. And if you live in Minneapolis or St. Paul, you'll likely stay somewhere in the low 50s. Here's tomorrow's forecast. Increasing clouds again, a lot like today, only towards sunset we'll see a shower or two. That'll be 9 o'clock. 70 to high. Here's the weekend forecast. I think everybody will like. Just a passing shower Saturday, close to 80 again by Sunday. The rest of the area tonight, as we look forward to a chilly night in Bemidji-Walker, 44. It'll warm up to 66 there tomorrow and 74 in Mankato. That's it. A 10-minute shower. It's over. These will all die down once the sun sets.
All right.
That spider really was the highlight of your day.
Wasn't that great?
That was.
I knew you'd like it.
Time now to join Randy Shaver in sports.
We're going to talk a little basketball tonight. We're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to start with the Twins, and the slide continues. They lost their 4th consecutive series in the process of officially falling out of first place in the Central. The White Sox win today 5-1. Brad Radke takes the loss. Sox starter Mark Burley, sensational today, gives up just 5 hits, 2 were questionable, strikes out a career-high 9. The Sox led 2-0 when Jose Valentin ripped a shot to the gap in right center. It's a double, scoring 2, but then the throw home by Luis Rivas gets away from Matthew LeCroy. Valentin would score on the play, and Chicago leads it 5-0. The Twins trailed 5-0 in the 9th. Corey Koski, a shot to left off the top of the wall, comes back into play. It's an RBI double. He gets 2 hits today. Twins lose 5-1. Afterwards, manager Ron Gardenhire had some sharp words about that 3-run play by Valentin.
We just didn't make any plays on that relay throw. Good God, that guy's out by 10 yards. He should have been out by 10 yards. Turn and just lob the ball and the guy's out. And we throw it down the line, up into the dugout. That's not coming to play. That's not ready to play. That should have been a 3-0 game at best there. And earlier in the game, I didn't think we made some plays. Could have been a 1-0 ball game. We just didn't play.
Maybe last night's ball game will probably get us going a little bit better, but it just didn't happen. It just wasn't a good game. Guys. I don't want to say nothing, but it's just we need to play a better ball game tomorrow.
Interesting. Twins are a half game behind the Royals starting tonight. The NBA draft will get underway shortly in New York, and as expected, the Cleveland Cavaliers will choose LeBron James with the #1 pick. The Ohio high school star is the consensus #1 choice, and the Cavs plan to build a contender around him. The first 3 picks are apparently locked in tonight. The draft should get interesting, starting with Toronto and the 4th pick. Former Gopher Rick Rickard is in New York tonight and may attend the draft as a spectator. This could be a long night for Rick. All the mock drafts we've seen to this point project Rickard to be a middle to late 2nd round choice, which means no guaranteed money and a long road to even make a team. Rickard left school after his sophomore season to chase the NBA dream. As for the hometown Timberwolves, they hold the 26th overall pick in tonight's draft, and the brain trust of Saunders and McHale feels strongly they'll get a solid player. Tim McNiff has more on that.
With the 6th pick in the 1999 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select...
It's been 4 years since the T-Wolves last heard these words. 4 years since they've even held a first-round draft choice. And yes, they're happy to do more than watch and wait.
It's nice to be, back in the draft. At the 26th pick, it's I think this year there's enough players, and we like enough guys at this point that I think we're going to get someone we really like.
The Wolves hold the 26th pick in the first round. That's near the end of the round, when impact players like LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony will have already left the building. But the Wolves still think they can find some help.
Depending on what we might do from a trade standpoint or potential trades or who's out there, and depending who might fall through, he's one of the guys that that is definitely in the people that we're looking at in that group.
Saunders is referring to former Holy Angels standout Troy Bell. Bell capped a 4-year career at Boston College by finishing as the school's all-time leading scorer and all-time leader in three-point shooting. Bell would fill a need at point while adding yet another scoring threat.
The Timberwolves are a great organization, and if I'm around, I'd love to play for them. If not, I wish them the best of luck.
And they need it, because after 4 years, you'd hate to throw up an air ball with your first shot back in the game. Tim McNiff, KARE 11 Sports.
Should be an interesting night for both Mr. Bell and the T-Wolves.
All right,
Thanks a lot, Randy.
After a break, a race where a photo finish is definitely not needed.
But first, a look at today's closing numbers on Wall Street. Finally at 6, a race where speed is not the name of the game. They may not be fast, but the contestants in the 17th annual Turtle Derby sure know how to entertain a crowd. The reptile races are a fundraiser for Fairview University Children's Hospital. Departments within the hospital and others sponsor turtles for $50 per race.
I can feel their pain, too. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you at 10.